Good day, RGV. Today on Valley por Vida, we're talking about one item on the National Day calendar. We're also giving you tips on how you can spruce up your resume to land that dream job. We're talking about different ways that we as a community can lend support for our local veterans, plus a lot more. The show starts right now. Hi there, and thanks again for joining us today. I'm your host, Danielle Banda. Now, if you're a current active job seeker, then you're going to want to pay attention to today's show. See, according to the nationaldaycalendar.com, September marks International Update Your Resume Month. Now, this means that if we don't have a resume, it's a good time to start putting one together. After all, it's never too early. Parents can even start to collect a record of their children's accomplishments and, of course, their work so that they can have a good foundation for their first resume as they get a little bit older. And if we do have a resume on hand, then this month is a good time to take another look at it. So, you can either have a mentor or a trusted professional look over it to get their opinion on how we can make adjustments and improve it. We can also re-review it for accuracy and any pertinent updates that may need to be made, like changes in job history, references, or contact information. And of course, we can make sure that all the digital file formats are still workable and up to date. All the little things that can help to improve it. And if you feel the need, you can also always completely switch it up and restart one. That way you have an updated version. Now, whatever your personal preference, this month is the month to think about it. And in case you're thinking, oh my gosh, I know I need to update my resume, but I have no idea where to start. Well, not to worry. We're going to share some quick and easy things that you can do. So taking a look at businessnewsdaily.com, the first and foremost rule to keep in mind when it comes to our resumes is to make sure that they're short and direct. The site says that it's good for them to be no more than a page, maybe too long, and that we should only mainly include any work that we've done that's the most relevant and the most beneficial. It also outlines that we shouldn't include anything in there that's too dated, like any irrelevant awards, recognitions, work maybe from elementary school. And if you're not too sure how far back in time you should look at, the site actually recommends that we take the past 10 to 15 years into consideration as a main source of resume points to include. But really the main thing here is that we remember to keep it all simple, straightforward, short, and sweet. The site also says that we can always use a free online resume template resource, but to remember that it's just that, only a template. So we've got to personalize it with a professional presentation method that is suitable to our individual employment experience and our career goals. It also outlines that there was actually a study done by one company that found out 60% of hiring managers consider a customized resume as a really good strategy to use when potential employees are trying to land a job. Even more so, it says that we should have a lot of easy to identify qualifications because let's face it, no one wants to read a whole essay just to find out that you have a degree in this or that, experience in that. That's why bullet points are often recommended. That way your entire career history is easy to browse over while still highlighting your work and your accomplishments. And this is a really important one too, okay? We've got to make sure that there's at least some sort of structure on your resume. So let's make sure that any dates are in chronological order. Let's make sure words and points are easily readable from left to right, of course, or top to down. And that if there are any sentences, that there are no grammatical or spelling spelling errors. The site also recommends that we make sure anything we do include on our resumes is applicable to the specific job that we're trying to apply to. So if you're applying to be a financial analyst, then maybe your experience as a mechanic in the past isn't too applicable. I mean, it really just depends. Just use your best judgment and try your best to have all relevant information on there. And if you're going to include any personal skills like being prompt or being good at communication, then just make sure that those bullet points are related to the desired job as well. Because it doesn't really matter if you outline that you're a good cook, if you're applying for a position as an IT manager or a technical engineer. You know what I mean? And this is an interesting one too. The site suggests that we really pay attention to any results with numbers or metrics. So let's say that we're outlining that, we produce over 50% of a certain work product. Well, then we've got to make sure that that percentage is reasonable, accurate, and if possible, are able to be fact-checked somehow. Or if we say that we attended a certain university, maybe from the years of 2012 to 2016, for example, then let's just make sure that those are correct presentations and representations of the time spent there rather than, an approximation, that kind of stuff. And in case you never thought of this tip before, the site says it's a good idea to consider a summary of qualifications somewhere at the top of your resume, so potential employers can easily sum up who you are in just a few seconds with a few short sentences. This can even be something, as simple as science professor for over 4 universities in the state of Texas and with 20 years of experience. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but a little paragraph like this can definitely go a long way. So again, if you can try and implement one or several of these tips, then we're sure that your resume will be all spiffed up and ready to impress. And we'll give you a chance to look over your own resume right now because we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to give you the latest on the weather. But when we return, we'll talk about unique ways we can lend support for our local veterans as a community. That info plus more after the break.